Before we kick off this case, I'd like to ask all of you to please share this as much as you can, because there's a really important lesson and message at the end of this documentary that needs to reach everyone. On July 25th, 2024, in Uran Taluka, Navi Mumbai, Surendra Kumar went to the Purun police station to file a missing person report for his 20-year-old daughter, Yashashree Shinde. He told the police that his daughter worked as a data analyst at a company in Belapur and had left home for work that day, just like she did every day. But that day, she took a half day off and went home, then said she was going out to meet some friends in the afternoon. But when she didn't come back late at night, they called her, and her phone was switched off. The number you're trying to reach is currently switched off. With growing worry, they asked Yashashree's friends too, but surprisingly, none of them had seen her that day. Her parents' hearts raced with fear of something bad happening, because this was the first time it had ever happened. Before this, whenever their daughter was late coming home. After making a call home, the police wasted no time and registered a complaint from Yashashree's father, launching an investigation right away. It had been 24 hours, but the police still hadn't gotten any information about Yashashree. As time passed, her parents' hopes were dwindling. Then, late at night, a police officer at the Uran police station received a call. The caller informed him that a body of a girl, covered in blood, had been found near a deserted petrol pump in Kodnaka, with some dogs sniffing around it. When the police finally arrived, they found a girl's body in terrible condition, surrounded by heaps of garbage. There were deep marks all over her body from a sharp weapon, and she was completely covered in blood. Her face was so mangled that it was hard to identify her. Following the procedure, the police quickly sent the body for a post-mortem. In another shocking twist, a 20-year-old woman had been murdered in Navi Mumbai. There was a strong possibility that this could be Yashashree's body, but the damage to her face made it difficult for the police to confirm her identity. It was impossible for them to handle, so they called her parents to the hospital to identify the body. No parents in the world ever want to face a day like this. With fear and anxiety in their hearts, Surendra Kumar and his wife arrived at the hospital, hoping against hope that it wasn't their daughter. But the nightmare they dreaded became a reality. The torn clothes and some accessories found on the dead body confirmed that it was indeed Yashashree's body on the afternoon of July 25th. The last time they saw their daughter, she was leaving the house, and now she was lying lifeless in front of them. For parents, losing a child is not just heartbreaking. It's even more painful to think about how much suffering their child went through in their final moments. In this case, the post-mortem report brought a lifetime of grief to the parents. The report revealed that she had been stabbed multiple times with a knife all over her body, including her private parts. And when that wasn't enough for the killer, they also smashed her face with a rock. The way the murder was carried out reveals a lot about the criminal's mental state. In Yashashree's case, the multiple wounds clearly showed that the killer was filled with rage and frustration, losing control in the process. This usually happens when there's a strong personal and emotional connection between the criminal and the victim. The attacks on the private parts indicate that the criminal isn't just assaulting the victim's body, but also wants to psychologically dominate them, punishing them for some perceived wrongdoing. The most important question is, who hated Yashashree so much, and what could have led to her being killed so brutally? Welcome to the show. My name is Shashwat, and you're watching the case of Yashashree Shinde. In any crime, there's usually some connection to an incident from the past. So the police asked Yashasree's parents if she had any conflicts or enemies. They said nothing recent had happened. But 5 years ago, there was a significant event that her family started telling the police about. In 2019, there was a guy living in the same neighborhood who worked as a bus conductor. He started stalking and bothering Yashashree while she was on her way to school and coaching classes. One day, Surendra Kumar saw that guy talking to his daughter, Yashashree, who was still a minor at the time while the guy was around 23 years old. His name was Dawood Sheikh, and he ended up in jail under the POCSO Act after Yashree's father filed a complaint. Now, the police have pulled up Dawood Sheikh's records, while another team is checking the last location of Yashashree's phone and the surrounding areas. It takes a while to go through the CCTV footage. The police found out from the information they got from the court that Dawood was out on bail just a month and a half later. But Yashashree's family had no idea about it, and they hadn't seen him again in the past 5 years. Meanwhile, another team from the Mumbai police started pulling the footage from all the CCTV cameras in the Uran area. After hours of watching the footage, they finally found a clip showing Yashashree walking down the street with an umbrella, talking on the phone at 2:01 p.m. on July 25th. They were on their way, but just 8 minutes later, the police spotted a guy following Yashashree on the same road. This guy turned out to be Dawood Sheikh. After all these years, what was Dawood's connection to Yashashree? To find out, the police started asking Yashasree's friends, and one of them mentioned that on July 24th, which was just a day before Yashashree went missing, she got a call from Yashashree. Yashashree said she was going to meet a guy she didn't really want to see and was feeling scared about it. But she had to go for some reason. They told her not to go and said that if she was scared, they would go with her. But Yashashree went to meet him alone. Unfortunately, this friend of Yashashree didn't know the guy's name, the meeting place, or what her reasons were. To find answers to these unanswered questions, the police pulled Yashasree's call details. And that's when new layers of the case started to unfold. Not only was the truth about the case about to come out, but Yashasree's lies were also going to be revealed. The call records showed 2 numbers that Yashashree had talked to the most. Interestingly, one of the numbers belonged to that Dawood Sheikh, who had been sent to jail for stalking and harassing Yashashree. The other number was linked to a guy named Mohsin. The police started seeing this as a love triangle case because it was possible that Yashashree was killed for that reason. Without wasting any time, they picked up Mohsin and started grilling him. Mohsin and Dawood were friends, and whenever Yashashree blocked Dawood's number after a fight, Dawood would call her from his friend Mohsin's phone. That's why Mohsin's number was also involved. Mohsin had given the police all the information he had about Dawood. It was clear now that this wasn't a love triangle, and Dawood Sheikh was the prime suspect in the case. So, the police set up 8 teams to track him down. According to the police, Dawood traveled by train from Uran to CBD Belapur station and then took another train to Panvel. After that, he contacted a friend to transfer some money into his account, withdrew it from an ATM, and then caught a bus to Gulbarga in Karnataka. He went to his village where his grandmother lived. He stayed with her for a few days, but he knew that the police could track him through his phone. So he switched off his phone and left it with her, then set off on foot. But his little trick didn't work because when they can't track a mobile phone's location, the police activate their old school network, which works even before mobile tech came about. They call this network informers. With the help of these informers, the Mumbai police, they tracked down Dawood, who was wandering from one spot to another in the mountains near his village to avoid the police. But finally, at 5 a.m. on July 30th, 2024, he was arrested from a hill in Shahpur, Karnataka, in connection with the Yashashree murder case. The police apprehended Dawood, and after that, he made some revelations that gave the case a new twist. After getting out of jail for a month and a half in 2019, Dawood had an accident that left him on bed rest for 45 days. Dawood stayed for a while and then left the city to go back to Karnataka. He told the police that he and Yashashree had known each other for quite some time, and after he got out of jail, they started talking again. When the police checked Dawood's call records, it turned out to be true. Yashashree used to talk to Dawood for hours on the phone. Not only that, but they also found a tattoo of Dawood's name on her chest. Dawood told the police that he wanted to marry Yashashree and take her with him to Karnataka, but she wasn't on board with that. Despite her repeatedly saying no, Dawood kept pushing for marriage. Dawood was putting pressure on Yashashree. He left Karnataka to meet her on July 22nd. According to Dawood, they met on July 23rd and 24th as well. But Yashashree refused to meet him again because of his obsession with marrying her. Yashasree's secret love affair was turning into a death trap because Dawood had her private photos. And he started blackmailing her by threatening to leak them. In fact, to intimidate her, he showed up on the evening of July 24th with those private photos while she was pretending to meet a friend at home to see him at Juinagar railway station. When she reached the station, she had no idea that her steps would not lead her back home like usual. As always, they got into an argument over the same things. The fight escalated so much that Dawood attacked her. He started stabbing her with a knife, having planned it all along. Not only did he choose a secluded spot to meet, but he had also brought 2 knives with him. His eyes were filled with rage, and even as she lay there fighting for her life, he kept attacking her, not even sparing her private parts. When he wasn't satisfied with just that, he smashed his head with a heavy rock and ran away. For now, Dawood Sheikh is being held in custody by Raigad district for 7 days, and a decision on the case is still pending. While researching this case, we found some points that raise many questions and leave a crucial message. Just 5 days before this incident, on July 20th, 2024, the court issued a non-bailable warrant for Dawood Sheikh for not showing up at the hearing for his 2019 POCSO case. If he had been arrested then, maybe this incident could have been prevented. Or his parents wouldn't have had to go through this. They had no idea what was going on in their daughter's life. Her affair with Dawood, hanging out with him, getting a tattoo. None of it. These things are happening in a lot of homes nowadays, making it seem like the parents are either really naive or the kids are way too smart. And lastly, I just want to say to all the girls out there, please don't share your private photos just because you're feeling emotional or pressured. If someone is threatening or pressuring you, speak up. Inform your parents or guardians if necessary. And if someone in a relationship asks you to fulfill this obligation, always remember that someone who truly loves you would never say that. If they do ask you to, they never really loved you in the first place. That's today's case. Take care, stay awesome, and we'll catch up next time with another case. If you like listening to crime cases in audio form, check out Spotify.com.